Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we offer first impressions of new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover up to 20 titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and up to 20 more from DriveThruRPG each week. The titles are presented in alphabetical order by site, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel, but you can also support us by purchasing one of our best-selling books. We've got lineages suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules in our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take your potions to the next level in your game. Our Feywild Companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for players and DMs. Also, our book Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets contains over 50 pages of dragon-themed player options, including a subclass for each class, and much more. Please support the channel by purchasing our books using the links in the video description. This week's episode focuses on titles released between December 10th and the 16th of 2021. We've got lots of 5th edition content, some OSR, and even some 5 Torches Deep content this week. Everything from items, subclasses, modules, settings, and even papercraft is in this week's episode, so make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end so you don't miss a title. First up, we have Age of Antiquity, Adventure and Intrigue in the Ancient World. It's by Arusian Publishing. It's $29.99 with authors Stephen DeLucci, Marcus London, and Alex Neely. 288 pages, and it's for 5th edition, but it doesn't say 5th edition over here, so if you're watching Arusian, you might want to add that little checkbox here for 5th edition, but it does say Dungeons & Dragons in 5th edition in the title as well as here, so I'm confident that this is 5th edition content for you. In the Age of Antiquity, the titanic struggles of empires and gods formed the backdrop as heroes rose to make their mark on history. Travel now to that legendary era as the adventures and intrigues of millennia past come to life. You hold in your hands an indispensable guide to the ancient world and all its wonders and perils. Explore the great cities of Rome and Babylon. Delve deep into the labyrinthine mortuary complexes of Egypt and wander the breadth of the known world from far-flung Hyperborea to the grandeur of China. It's a setting for 5th edition, and within the book you discover 8 cultures and a history of their conflicts and victories that shape the world, 6 pantheons whose divine power influences the fate of commoners and kings, 17 backgrounds to craft a detailed denizen of the ancient world, 24 subclasses, 24 spells, 12 feats, 150 plus magic items from myths of old and adventures to come, and 15 creatures of dread and mystical phenomena. So very cool. I really enjoy the cover. I think that this artwork is nice and really sets the tone. So I think it's exciting. I love ancient civilizations, etc. So having a setting place there is good. And a lot of people, I think, hesitate to use historical settings because they're scared that, the players are going to call them on accuracy. But what you have to remember with that is that it's an alternate universe, right? It's not the real Earth. So you can have mixtures of things. You can have ancient Greek myth alongside new stuff that you've created or used from this book or other books. So I think it's exciting when somebody does something like this, because I think it'll make people more inclined to do it, because they can use this as a guideline and say, well, it's in the book, I have this to kind of back me up. And I also think it's an opportunity for people to learn about mythologies and parts of history that they may not know. So, and they've got Hyperborea in there and all these areas, Babylon, China. So that's exciting. Let's take a look inside. So you get to see 8 of those 288 pages, and already some gorgeous maps in here. And this is called Telesinia, so we can learn about this location with some really wonderful art for this governor Etruscanus. And then you've got the pantheons with some also gorgeous art for the various pantheons. It looks like they're going to cover, with the 6 that they're covering, they've got the Greco-Roman one, the Egyptian one, the Chinese one, the Celtic one, the Sumero-Babylonian one, and the Zoroastrian one. So very cool. And some just stunning art throughout. So 288 pages with art like this is going to be a fun look for sure. So let's read a little bit about Telesnia, or Telesinia, sorry. This is the eastern jewel of the Roman Empire. Telesinia is a sprawling metropolis of nearly 300,000, founded just over a century ago during the Roman annexation of Inner Anatolia. Telesinia has become the fastest growing city in the empire and is second only to Rome itself in the value of the trade that flows through its ports. Positioned along the mouth of the river Leucocyrus, at the crossroads of Greece, Parthia, Egypt, and Judea, Telesinia is one of the most strategically important cities of the empire and has become the linchpin of Rome's ability to trade with the Eastern powers. Telesinian merchants are a common sight from Napata to Babylon and beyond. In the recent decades, traders out of Telesinia have even begun to arrive in the warring Chinese kingdoms, returning with luxurious silks, strange potions, and powerful magic items not before known to the Western powers. So very cool, and I, as I said, I love the map. Some information on the trade wars, etc., and the various people. So this is just a sampling. We're kind of jumping around because see, this is page 76, and up here this is a different page. I don't see 72. But yeah, let's read a little bit about the Zoroastrian pantheon. The smallest of the established pantheons, there exist only two true deities in the Zoroastrian religion, though numerous demigods are present and practice. This pantheon of one as Ahriman is not publicly worshipped in any of the major cities of Parthia. So yeah, that's a lesser known one, I would say, compared to some of these others. But yeah, I'm excited by this. I think it's cool to see all these old civilizations kind of mesh together, because most of these empires didn't exist simultaneously, or a few of them did, but not all of them at once, right? So having them all active already makes it an alternate universe, but it's exciting. I mean, there's tons of stuff, 24 spells, 24 subclasses, 150 plus magic items. So I think this is definitely an exciting title, and I want to read it. So check it out under Age of Antiquity in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Animated VTT Spells, Volume 3 from Wild Magic Surge for $6.75. And this is basically animated VTT spells, tokens, whatever you want to call them, for your VTT software. They've got various packs they released this week, but I just picked this one. So if you click on Wild Magic Surge after you click the link in the video description for Animated VTT Spells, you'll find some of the others that they have. Quite a few options. I was impressed with the variety that they have. You can see they've got various cones here effects and radius effects. I'm gonna play just a snippet so you can see some of the animations going, and they've got videos for all the different ones that they have. And I think it's exciting if you have a VTT software that allows animations. Not all of them, like Fantasy Grounds doesn't, but a lot of them do offer animation options. This could be really fun to show a spell or an effect kind of animated. I think it's really cool. And like I said, they have a bunch of packs. I saw all kinds of animated options when I looked kind of through their catalog, and I think they released 3 different ones this week, but of course we're only covering one on the show. But as I said, you can go to the link for Animated VTT Spells, and then when you get here, click this to see some of the other options. So very cool. Check it out under Animated VTT Spells in the video description links and give it a click. Next we have BroadSword Monster Compendium for spring 2021 with this really awesome cover. It takes me back to 2nd edition with the Monsters Compendiums they released. It's got a similar font and look with this really beautiful art. And it's from DM Dave for $14.99, also known as Dave Hamrick, and it's 150 pages. It says Broadsword is an original tome with monsters, new adventures, player options, and more. So that's like a monthly magazine that comes out from DM Dave. And then this version is a compendium that collects 180 monsters from that monthly zine, including full descriptions, 5th edition stat blocks, easy to reference format, etc. It says whether you're just starting out or a game master that's experienced, you'll find plenty of new and exciting options for your players in this, the first compendium. And just looking here at the list of some of the creatures, you got a CR18, CR10, 16, 14, 14, 1, 2, 9, 19, 15, 4. I mean, just all over the board. quite a mix of CRs, which is, I think, super helpful, because you might be in the midst of a long campaign that's higher level and maybe you need a 19 or a 16 as opposed to, converting a 4, right? But I like that there's even some low-level stuff in here as well, and mid-range. So very cool. And 150 pages of monsters, I mean, that's pretty helpful. So check it out under BroadSword Monster Compendium in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we've got Crosshead's Mother Medusa, and with a really fun cover. I like that one a lot. And it's from Crosshead, but authors Oz Mills and Pim Otenhoff. It's available as a PDF for $4, but you can get the softcover standard color book for $7.25 or both for $9.95, which I think is a really good price for a printed version. And it says it's 5th edition, designed for 3 to 5 characters at 5th level. It says an archaeologist exposes ancient dangers. A snake cult slithers from the depths. While a voice cries among unwanted worshippers, can you prevent a tragic ending to a tale centuries in the making? Crosshead Studios presents Mother Medusa, an adventure in which a group of heroes will receive a cry for help from a town under siege. Nightly attacks and abductions have left people they are desperate, and an archaeologist seems to be to blame. The heroes must travel to ancient underground ruins, battle venomous snake folk and their brainwashed servants, and confront a troubled princess who might be the key to either saving or destroying the entire region. So very cool. And, it just looks really cool in print as well. So you can see kind of what it looks like with the nice interior artwork, etc. I'm always excited by the print-on-demand titles because you just don't, a lot of titles aren't print on demand, so especially for only $9.95, I think that's a steal. So let's look inside. So you get to see 5 of those 32 pages, and you can see some beautiful map artwork here. And then we've got some flavor text, so we'll read some of that, and you can see they've got a serpent here, fang of Asclepius. I don't know how to say that, but it's cool. It says it's a ring, uncommon. It's got a description of it. Let's zoom in and read a little bit about that ring. This green jade ring contains the blessing of a virile deity. The ring contains 3 charges. While wearing this ring, you can use a bonus action to speak the ring's command word and transform a part of your body into a snake for 1 minute. Where you wear the ring determines what is turned into a snake. For example, when you wear it on your finger, it will transform your whole hand, leaving the ring on a fang. Alternatively, you can braid it into your hair to turn the lock of it into a snake in the manner akin to a Medusa. The snake cannot be used to hold anything you would not normally be able to hold in that limb. But you can use the snake to enhance your unarmed strikes. Any unarmed strike you make using the transform limb deals piercing damage instead of bludgeoning damage. Additionally, a creature that takes damage from one of the unarmed strikes must make a DC 13 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, they take poison damage and are poisoned until the end of their turn. The ring regains charges daily at dawn. So very fun ring. And I like the artwork. The maps are cool. Yeah, I'm really liking this. I hadn't seen anything by Crosshead before, but it could be that they've released previously, before I started this series, so I haven't seen any of their stuff. But I'm gonna have to check out more of it, and I might pick up a copy of this for myself. So check it out under Crosshead's Mother Medusa in the links below, and give it a click. Next, we've got Cryptids Inc. for Modern 5th edition with this really fun Mothman cover. Also, reminds me a bit of Mothra from the Godzilla stuff. It's $29.95 for 185 pages from Lewis Publications with Jackson Lewis, Isaac May, Linda Van Hoy, and a bunch of other authors. It's an all-new 5th edition campaign setting that features cryptids, explosions, mystery, and explosions. Really, who doesn't like that? The world is full of monsters and the ones who hunt them. Every myth, every folktale, every urban legend is true, and the rest of the world is none the wiser. It falls to a secret society of monster hunters, Cryptids Inc., to make sure that the shroud of normalcy never falls and that the monsters that would devour all of humanity, given the chance, are dealt with. However, Cryptids Inc. isn't all about destroying monsters, it's about protecting those same monsters from those that would exploit and destroy them. In this book, you'll find a rundown on the cryptids of the United States of America and its close neighbors, including cryptids and organizations that call each state their home. So there's 7 modernized classes, including the Brawler, martial experts who can go blow for blow with even more powerful supernaturals armed with nothing but their bare hands. Then you've got the Dreamer, trained in bending the dreaming to their will. Dreamers draw on supernatural powers fueled by the very realm from which cryptids originate. Infiltrators, mages, mechanists, soldiers, and paragons. Paragons being often a little more than human. The paragon is a natural-born expert in fighting the forces of the dreaming, leading some to believe that they are uniquely chosen for this role before they even know it. And then they've got new firearm mechanics, modern weapons, and revised ambush rules. And then there's a Tier 1 adventure called He Grinned from Ear to Ear by Oliver Darkshire, a popular author. We've talked about Oliver recently in a recent video. And then there's 30 cryptids and human NPCs statted up and ready to use. So I think this is really cool because it uses the 5th edition modern and builds upon it and creates something new. So I think that's exciting. I was really excited when I found that this week. So let's look inside. You get to see 23, a good chunk of the 185 pages. So you've got history here, cosmology of the cryptids, which I want to read about, and then wow, cool. This little dossier. I love the styling of this. Very retro, kind of touring the USA postcard style. Lots of fun. So yeah, it goes through the active cryptids for every state. So you could be busy for quite a while chasing down all these cryptids. And yeah, this just, the way they put this together looks really nice. I like it. Let's go read a little bit about the cosmology of Cryptids Inc. It says the cosmology of the Cryptids Inc. universe is almost identical to our world with one huge difference, the dreaming. The dreaming is the collective realm of human unconsciousness, where all monsters, cryptids, and deities come from. Humanity dreams up monsters, and they are brought to life within the dreaming. When a monster is killed outside of the dreaming, they are reformed in an indeterminate amount of time inside the dreaming, where they are free to leave or stay as they please. The time it takes creatures to reform seems to be somewhat dependent on the strength of the creature's narrative. If the creature is well known and ubiquitous in the culture, then reformation takes a matter of weeks or days. If the creature is lesser known, it can take months or years. The creatures that come from the dreaming have a variety of cascading categories that further define them. So you have Narvors, Archons of Order, Incarnates, Devils, Mythics, Kindly Ones. So you have everything from Remnants, Folk Monsters, Fae, Pixies, Crossroads. Yeah, this is fun. I think they really thought through this. And here's a lot of information on each of the different types. So yeah, if you're looking to mix something up, but you still want to use the 5th edition rule set, for modern, I think this is a brilliant option and just a fun little cover and artwork from what we've seen so far. So check it out under Cryptids Inc. in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got Highfane Peaks for 5 Torches Deep from Sigilstone Publishing. And it's already a best silver seller in its first week. And the authors are Ben Dutter and Jessica Dutter. And you can get it for $12 for the PDF, or you can get the softcover premium color for $30, or a combination for $30, which I think is also a good price because it's 73 pages. And it says it's compatible with both 5th edition and OSR because 5 Torches Deep is a hack of 5th edition that's OSR style. So it's like a combination of those two things. So it's basically 5th edition with some OSR flavor and changes to it. So you would probably need the 5 Torches Deep, core books to be able to play this. And I don't know how many books there are, probably just one. And they're also here on DriveThruRPG, but it says it's a setting toolkit designed to help you build evocative adventures in a mythological mountain range. Detailed mountaineering rules, new lineages, classes, spells, monsters, and equipment, guidelines on adventuring in an arcanely drenched mountain range, high concept, what if dungeons were on mountain peaks instead of underground? So it's a compact compendium of rugged climbs and ancient magic, old school plus 5th edition. Highfane Peaks is built for 5 Torches Deep, the best-selling OSR-minded 5th edition hack. As such, it works with just about any fantasy adventure game that uses a D20. While there are a few widgets that specifically cater to 5 Torches Deep, the majority of the book is a collection of tools and tables to help create adventures in a sorcerer's mountain range. So it sounds like you don't even have to maybe have 5 Torches Deep. You can just use it with 5th edition. That's exciting. A setting of aberrant temples carved atop magically birthed mountains. A long-dead progenitor people known as the Shapers created the eponymous range at the edge of the world. Some say that these peaks are where all life began, others that it is a foul place haunted by the sins of careless mages. Dig into dozens of pages of spells, monsters, loot, adventure hooks, and people in our typical concise style, all designed to fit within an evocative setting. New rules for mountain-based adventures. You've got the lineages, classes, etc. So, and then they have a flip through of the book, which is nice. You can see the physical book, which, you come back here and look at that on your own. I'm not going to play that right now, but I would encourage you to do that so you can see before you decide between the PDF or the soft cover or both. Maybe give this a look, because it might make you really want that print version, and the print versions can be very exciting. So let's take a look at the preview here. So you get to see 19 of the 73 pages, and it looks really cool. So let me zoom in here. So you've got your table of contents, and then you've got the Highfane peaks. Yeah, look at the cool artwork for the Highfane. Some really nice artwork everywhere. Actually, let me zoom back out so you can see the artwork a little better. So, advanced classes. Oh, a Goat Knight, Ordomancer. Yeah, really fun artwork for all of them. Altered classes. Highfane lineages. So we'll look at one of those in a minute. Mountaineering gear, Highfane magic. Yeah, this looks really gorgeous. I definitely would like to read the whole thing. Let me zoom in here. So you've got the wood rose. Small, peculiar folk, no more than 2 feet tall. These hairy plant people are rumored to be born in the soil. Turnip head is a common slur, though most wood rose care little of what others call them, be they fey or a more mundane bloodline. All agree that they are a timeless magical people. Often as wide as they are tall, wood rose can collapse into a dense clot, rolling and bouncing along mountains and tunnels with ease. They have no need to eat, but instead bury themselves in fertile volcanic soil as a means of combined sleep and sustenance. As the root folk age, they become increasingly coarse and covered in metalled root fibers, with a blossoming flower sprouting from the top of their teardrop-shaped head. Many enjoy styling or decorating this flower to express their individuality. Wood rose have no concept of gender, and most are of an irregular and inconsistent size and shape. Defying any logical pattern, their skin and hair vary in color between purple, brown, and orange, some with 3 or more eyes, others with no discernible eyes at all. Wood rose voices are similarly varied between a gravelly baritone and an airy childlike whisper. The root folk seem to command attention from any they wish to and have a knack for getting people to talk rather than fight. I mean, look at this adorable art. That is such a cute character that you can play in this. And here's like your ability scores and some of your little traits. So you can tuck into an oblong orb like a potato, ignore harsh terrain moving downhill, and gain advantage to stealth, but can attack or defend while in this tuck position. Those unfamiliar with your people might overlook you, even if they touch you, but Fagilburni will not notice you. Fall damage is halved in this position, so there's another thing called Fagilburni. And then Decompose cantrip, all kinds of stuff going on. I really think this is a fun book, and mountain ranges are cool, and having stuff at the top of them is really cool, especially if you're going to have something here called a Goat Knight to explore with. So I think there's just a lot of fun to be had, and like I said, it looks like you don't need 5 torches deep. You can use this with 5th edition or OSR based on what I'm reading. It doesn't seem like it'd be too hard to pull that in. And then you also have tons of art and things you can just pull out. I mean, even if you just pull out a spell or one of these, you could take that race we looked at and just pull that out and use it without the whole setting. So lots of value, and for $30 you can get a printed version. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. So I definitely think it's worth considering. So check it out under 5 Torches Deep Highfane Peaks in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Gifts of the Earth, a Materials and Crafting Compendium from John C.C. Swinford, and it's $13.26 for 57 pages, and it's system neutral. It's a supplementary source book aimed primarily at increasing the number of wondrous materials in the world without having to resort to magic. For game masters who want to shake up gameplay without having to resort to low-level magic items, this tome is ideal. With a variety of metals and materials along with an integrated smithing system, your players can enjoy having strange and powerful items while still being challenged by what your world throws at them. Designed primarily for use with low fantasy gaming systems, this book can be easily used with a variety of systems with minimal tweaking. Inside you'll find resources like 20 completely new wondrous materials, reworked and revamped materials that already exist, an abstract crafting system, an original alchemist class, so that's really cool. And then you've got a base 12 currency system for simple equilibrium between financial and trade values and coinage, and lots more. So let's take a look inside. You get to see 7 of those 57 pages. So you've got the credits and the foreword, and then you've got your content. So it goes through the materials, trinkets, curios, magic items, and all kinds of good stuff. Crafting, a whole section on crafting, like that. And what is the gifts of the earth? It talks about dynamic magic items, streamlined crafting, currency. And the artwork is really nice. I like what I'm seeing in terms of the artwork. Even the layout looks good. So let's read about the dynamic magic items here. It says Gifts of the Earth operates under the notion that there are 3 primary power sources from which players are able to use what we deem to be magic. There are arcane, the divine, and the psionic. When the standalone term magic is used, this refers to all branches of magical ability. If referring to a specific branch of magic, this book will use the aforementioned terms. An item, if listed as resistant or immune to any one specific branch of magic, is assumed to be vulnerable as per normal to the other branches of magic. The materials and items in this book interact differently with different sources of power for better or for worse, and they all have vulnerabilities. Wow, I am just getting all tongue twisted today. Sorry about that. I like that. I like that there's like these 3 different areas of magic, basically, and that the items, it sounds like the items are going to respond differently based on the different types of magic, so that's cool. I like that. And then the crafting system and Gifts of the Earth is designed to allow you to more accurately track the quantities of material required to forge or craft weapons and armor, rather than the entire process being eyeballed by the GM on a case-by-case basis, which leaves room for inconsistency and exploitation. This grounded system means players and GMs alike can have a unified framework of what is needed to craft that plate mail. It uses an abstract system based on real-world information, provided in such a way that should you desire to add your own custom materials to your world, it's simple to integrate them so long as you know the weight of 1 cubic foot of material. Remember that you are the master of your own world, and you are free to ignore or modify any of the rules within this book. So it seems like they're going through a really cool process to make it standardized so that you and your players can both figure out, because maybe you're not super interested as a DM in the crafting, but you've got players that keep bugging you about wanting to craft. And so maybe with this, they can help you kind of supervise what's going on, as opposed to you having to do all of the number crunching. And there's tons of materials in here, all kinds of good stuff going on. I like the artwork and how it's focused on, okay, there's 3 different types of magic, and the way that things interact with those different types is going to do different things. And the price is pretty good, $13.26. You get 57 pages of stuff that's system neutral. So whether you're playing OSR, Powered by the Apocalypse, Dungeons and Dragons, Morkborg, you could use this, right? So check it out under Gifts of the Earth in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Kisarta, a setting of damned souls and unearthly horrors for 5th edition by Sushi Roll. And lots of authors, including Lupo Condata, Guido Campanini, Andrea Bergamelli, and more. $22.54 for 292 pages. If you're watching Sushi Roll, you're missing the 5th edition checkbox over here to show it on the side here. So I would add that so people can find it, because this book looks awesome. I mean, look at that artwork. Really fun feel to it. It says, the death is not the end of everything, at least not for you. Cursed soul, a journey full of terrors is waiting for you in Kisarta. It's a setting that will drag you and your party into the netherworld of horrors. In this setting rulebook, players will travel in the 7 dominions of Kisarta, a dark reign of struggle and dangers in which the dead wake up, keeping some of the extraordinary skills that they had in life. A world of danger and horror where you will face chaos, madness, and damnation, as well as deadly enemies and frightening monsters. The netherworld realms of Kisarta are ruled by unholy and terrifying beings, and inhabited by the souls of the dead that awaken there. It is a place of struggle, and every adventurer must face constant danger and harsh challenges. Each player impersonates the soul of a dead person awakening in a tomb near the mysterious city of Limbo. Souls must fight, plot, track down cults and conspiracies to uncover ancient secrets hidden among the forgotten ruins and in the minds of beings that live there. Only then can they hope to carve out a place for themselves within the tangles of the great game where true power lies. Very cool. I like it. It's just gives you a cool feel. Going to some other plane is always fun, and I think this is going to give you a brand new third-party option to do that. So looking at it, you can see 9 of the 292 pages. So already we're seeing some stunning artwork. I mean, look at this. Just scrolling through here. Very cool. I love all of this. The worlds of Kisarta. So they've got Limbo and the Dominions. And the Pale Sun and the Void. I mean, just the names of those, right? It just sounds so cool. Yeah, I like this. I would definitely want to read this too. So let's zoom in and read about the powers of Kisarta. To comprehend the reality which is Kisarta, it is impossible to leave out of consideration the hierarchies built in these places over endless eons and the entities ruling them. The souls that end up on Kisarta are the lowest and largest part of the social pyramid. But the true power in the dominions is in the hands of the fiends known as the Kisarti. Their nature can be dual. In most cases, they are creatures native to a certain plane, but there are rare cases of souls that ascended to this rank having collected enough power through chilling arcane methods. The most powerful among the Kisarti can even shape entire dominions, altering the reality they are based on their own will. The constant battle for power both between different sides and within the same side has given birth to a complex pattern of schemes, feuds, and conspiracies known as the Great Game, where the stakes are the powers of the gods themselves. That's exciting. So there's a lot of power that can be gotten. These sort of demonic souls or powerful beings are shaping their own dominion, so it's kind of like a domain of delight or a domain of dread and official wizard stuff. So that's cool. So you could even kind of create your own dominion, it looks like. It says, the Black Circle, the most powerful of the Kisarti, are the mysterious lords of the Black Circle, creatures whose power challenges the imagination and the keepers of the ultimate truths about Kisarta. But as powerful as the lords are, they are also the ones most strictly bound to Kisarta's arcane laws and rules. The Black Circle can only be found on Kisarta and rarely makes appearances outside the city of the dead. Unlike other inferior Kisarti, who display with pride their powers and ugly shapes, they also live among the lesser souls, acting as their guides and caretakers. Many cults, places, organizations, and dynasties of the City of Dead are presided over or ruled by the Kisarti of the Black Circle. So just a lot of cool lore in here, and finding all about the lords of the Black Circle, all the different people, the guardians, the legions. Yeah, I would come here and read this and see if it's going to work for you, but I can't imagine there isn't something in here that you can use for $22.54 for 292 pages. That's a ton of material. There's got to be stuff in there that you can use, even if you don't use the whole thing. But I don't know why you wouldn't consider doing it, because it seems like a really fun setting and concept. So check it out under Kisarta in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got The Lair of the Krampus, written by Scott Ools and produced by Big Nerd Coffee Company in collaboration with Heroic Studios. And it is $3.99 for 20 pages. It's system neutral, and it says it's Christmas themed. It says 4 days before the midwinter celebration, 5 town children from North Peaks go missing, throwing off the seasonal harvest. Wily player characters are the only ones who seem to think the kids might have gone into the forbidden forest, and that's when they find out why the forest is forbidden in the first place. The town of North Peaks has been invaded by hard-working fishermen resourceful mountain folk, and friendly merchants taking advantage of North Peak's special finishing circumstances in the month before and after midwinter. However, after the town is turned upside down in search of 5 missing children, tensions run high. The PCs are the only people with the spark of inspiration to search the forbidden forest outside of town, and are the missing children's only hope. What they find living in the woods is a twofold danger: a friendly old woman who paralyzes her victims to cannibalize them, and a half-gold, half-demon creature who stores these paralyzed victims in icy, cold prison chambers for later consumptions. The characters must defeat one or both monsters and get the kids back to town. Wow, those are some scary things, but it seems, related to kind of Krampus and stuff, so I like that. It's got setting information, stats for the two antagonists, but what I love is these stats are for 5th edition, OSR, and Call of Cthulhu. Like, you never see that. You never see a book that has all 3 of those. Those are 3 major RPGs, TTRPGs, and to get all 3 stats in one book, that's pretty cool. So I love that. It's got a simple cave creation system that creates a unique lair each time. Simple system for running a chase scene. So those are systems you can use outside of this book. So yeah, I want to get this too, to have those systems available to create chases and caves. Sounds fun. Let's look inside. So you get to see 6 pages of the 20 that are in the book. So you got the scenario summary, game master notes, introduction, opening. We'll read a little bit of that in a minute. Optional scene, tensions run high, evidence and the meaning of the evidence, into the thicket, and then Krampus's lair in this preview. So that's cool. You get to read a good chunk here. So we'll read the opening. The read aloud here. It says, 1 month into the winter season, 2 days before the Midwinter Festival, and 4 days after the disappearance of the 5 town's children, feeling in the small town of North Peaks are tense at best. Several brawls have broken out between the townsfolk and the visiting fishermen, as suspicions have grown high that a visitor is responsible for the 5 missing children. Despite the thorough building-to-building and boat-to-boat search, tensions between townsfolk and visitors, or even between the townsfolk themselves, has not weakened. If anything, the tightly shuttered windows and lack of activity in the market square so close to the Midwinter Festival shows that the distrust has gotten worse. In all the chaos, you and a couple of others have realized that the search for the children was not complete. Just outside of the town is the old forest, but because of superstitions, no one, not even the anguished parents, have stepped foot in the forest to search for clues. Based on the lack of evidence in the town, you feel confident that there must be clues in the Forbidden Forest. So, yeah, get to go into the Forbidden Forest, see what's going on, and whether you're playing 5th edition, OSR, or Call of Cthulhu, Heroic Studios has got you covered here. So check it out under Krampus Lair in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got the Martial Cult of Blood Knight Gaius, a dungeon crawl about honorable vampires for use with Knave or the basic and expert rule books, best suited for low-level adventures by B. Everett Dutton. So this is definitely OSR, and you can use, basic, Beck Me, all those good things if you want for D&D. It says it's a 20-page dungeon crawl about a religious order of vampires who deny their feeding urges, instead only drinking the blood of those whom they have given a formal chance to defend themselves. The spells, items, and monsters described in the scene are intended for use with Ben Milton's Knave, but can also be quickly converted for use with BX or other OSR derivatives. So you'll find 9 monsters and NPCs, encounter feral and ravenous mad vampires, cyclopean mountain screamers, dashing and flamboyant vampire knights, a foolhardy adventurer called Sycorax, the craven and backstabbing demon priest Morpho, and more. 2 hard-hitting bosses, 8 spellbooks and enchanted items, and even more OSR goodness. Build tension with a rumors table, set the mood with passages of prose to read to your players, flesh out the story with 4 reasons to visit the cult, and 3 possible epilogues. Map out the monastery, and gaze upon 3 full-page illustrations. So tons of stuff in here in the 20 pages. So let's take a look inside. Oops. All right. Is it going to load for me? Maybe not. No, there we go. All right. 12 pages of the 20. So you get to see almost, a little more than half of the book here. Let's see. So you've got The introduction, I like the layout and the color scheme they're using. So you got reasons to visit the monastery, outside the monastery, exploring it, and then some random encounters. And here's sort of the map, and then the trial of the disciple. Very cool. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun stuff. Let's go back up and read a little bit about the Blood Knight Gaius here. It says, those afflicted with vampirism must regularly feed upon the blood of the living, lest they suffer physical effects akin to wasting disease, followed by painful physical transformations which finally give way to inhuman bloodthirsty madness. Though vampirism can be cured by some skilled witches, most avoid treatment due to fear and stigma around the condition. The most cunning and powerful vampires may use their aristocratic influence to attract their prey, inviting unsuspecting guests to their castles, mansions, or keeps. The vilest of vampires stalk the dark streets of cities or the misty woods beyond the lamplight, kidnapping any unlucky soul they encounter in a delusional, frenzied haze, desperate to save off their hunger for just one night more. One century ago, the most celebrated knight of the sun god delved into a nameless and icy cave on some holy crusade and met his end at the fangs of a mad vampire. The paladin Gaius emerged from the cave, pale and shuddering with an insatiable hunger. Though the freezing wind bit ruthlessly at his skin and his starvation drove him close to the edge of insanity, he would not die. From one full moon to the next, he wandered the mountainous tundra before coming across a traveler who calls himself Iago. Loyal to his oath of honor, Gaius denied his urge to kill Iago in cold blood and swallowed his ravenous appetite. The stranger Iago, however, was a wandering warrior and challenged Gaius to a duel. Defeating Iago first in a fair fight, the vampire finally allowed himself to feed. With his head bowed in thankful prayer to the sun god, the Blood Knight Gaius vowed never to break his oath again. Very cool. I like the story of Gaius there. And you've got information on the cult, reasons to visit the monastery, what's going on outside, and fun art. I mean, even on the cover, the art is fun. So check it out under Martial Cult of Blood Knight Gaius in the video description links and give it a click. Next, we got Poisonous Plants by Bloodstone Press on sale for $4.99, but it's written by L.J. Ogre, and it's 5th edition, 88 pages. It says Poisonous Plants features rules for 66 deadly plants and 1 ooze from our own world, including hemlock, nightshade, and hellebore. Each plant is presented with a stat block outlining its habitat, size, frequency, medical uses, damage, saving throws, and challenge rating. Most entries feature additional rules for creating herbal, alchemical, and magical substances. So you can craft insecticide from white cedar, brew healing balm from nightshade, extract weapon poison from bush rope, empower your necromancy with baneberry, fight oozes with myoporum, etc. It says it's heavily researched and the effects of these poisons mirror reality. Some cause paralysis, blindness, or terrifying hallucinations. Some cause psychic damage. A few contain acid. A couple cause creatures to take radiant damage from the sun. So all kinds of different things. It says these rules are primarily for DMs who want to bring a higher level of verisimilitude to their campaigns. DMs can use these plans to challenge PCs who forage, eat at a tavern, or partake in a banquet. PCs might also overdose when using these plans for medicinal or religious purposes. These rules are also for anyone adventuring in the wilderness. Anyone playing a druid will find these rules useful and interesting. Any party without a druid will find these rules dangerous and deadly. Wizards with herbalism or alchemy kit proficiency can make good use of them. Characters with medicine or nature skills will also find these rules helpful. So I like that there's lots of uses for this. I like that it's rooted in reality. No pun intended, or I guess pun intended there, rooted. We've got fun artwork, lots of classic botanical artwork that they're repurposing. I've looked at some of this artwork in the past and it's stunning. It's, there's so much beautiful botanical artwork that's been stored up that you can have access to, and it's great to see it used for 5th edition content. I love it. It's so yeah, you're gonna have beautiful artwork for these real world things. You're gonna learn about real world plants as well. And we've looked already at a setting that's based on Earth today. Our first book that we covered is set in ancient Egypt, Greece, etc. So some of these plants could be found there. And hemlock is well known with ancient Greece, etc. So this is going to be helpful to have lying around and be able to reference and we're going to look at one of them here. So we're at Baneberry here, so let's take a look at Baneberry. So first you've got, of course, the image, you've got an introduction, and then you've got a stat block that goes into the terrain where you can find it, the frequency, and then how you ID it, and then the type, ingestion or injury DCs, injet onset, protection from poison, medications, symptoms, traits, challenge ratings. So very cool. And then it says Baneberry is found in damp, rich soil among tall trees that provide partial or complete shade. All parts of the plant are dangerous, especially the berries, which may be red or white. And then it's got all these little sections here, you know, defining it further, but we'll read about ingestion. It says ingestion: a creature that ingests baneberries must succeed on a con saving throw or take poison damage and be pained for 4 hours, confused for 1 hour, and gain 1 level of exhaustion. A creature that makes the saving throw takes half as much damage and is poisoned for 2 hours. Okay, and then let's read about the binding spells. When spellcasters use Baneberry as a component to cast Command or Geese, the target of their spell has disadvantage on a saving throw. So they're tweaking some spells with these items, which is nice. Very cool. And then you can make healing salves, it looks like, and there's information on animals, all kinds of stuff. I like how in-depth and thorough this is, and I mean, even if you just use a couple plants out of here for $4.99, that's a good deal. So check it out under Poisonous Plants in the video description links and give it a click. Next we have the Prison Wagon from Paper Schnitzel, and you can see how cool it is, this little papercraft that you do to create this prison wagon that you can use for an encounter. It's $5, 8 pages. It says it's for any medieval or fantasy setting. Build the closed or open prison transport with 2 major skins included. You can build 1 or as many as you need because you're basically printing it and assembling it with papercraft. And you can see here they've taken the top off and there's little squares in there. So you can even have an encounter inside the prison wagon. And you can just basically print it, put it together, and go. And it's 25 to 30 millimeter scale. So if you have minis, you can put the minis in there. And I mean, just imagine the surprise of your players if you're the DM and then you spring this on them. You know, they've got their little minis, and then all of a sudden they're like, what is this, pulling up? And then next thing you know, they're in there. Or maybe they got knocked out in the last session and you left it that way, and now the next session starts and you put this on the table and you lift up the lid, and inside they see all their minis, right? So it could be just a really fun, like, campaign session starter. Like, this is where you are now. What are you going to do? How are you going to get out of this sort of wagon that you're trapped in? So I just thought this was really fun and really well designed. Sometimes with the paper minis, they don't look very good. It's even got a little seat, a little lip on the front, different size wheels. So you might even be able to adapt this if you're crafty with Photoshop into like some other kind of wagon, maybe like a merchant's wagon or they've got different skins here. So this one looks more metal, this one's more wooden. So yeah, you could maybe adapt it, and it looks like you can even see through one side there, you know, if you cut through the bars. So I like it so much, and I think you should check it out under Prison Wagon in the video description links and give it a click. Next we've got Reef of Memories from Adventure Bundles. It's a level 8 adventure for 5th edition with a good amount of exploration, a ton of combat, and a little bit of role play. And it's $3.99 for 19 pages. It says, off the coast of Bailey's Point exists a spot in the sea where ships have been sinking under no apparent reason. Survivors are plenty, but they all have the same stories. The ship got holes from one moment to the next, and after that they had little time to abandon it as it was sinking fast. Some even have stories of sea creatures dragging survivors underwater, never to be seen again. Furthermore, some 3 months ago, colorful corals have been spotted extremely close to the coast at Bailey's Point, as if a giant coral reef has been expanding towards the land. These are covered in a slimy mucus that puzzles researchers as they don't seem to perish when above water. Could the two things be connected? And if so, what could be causing the shipwrecks and the coral expansion? So you get an underwater dungeon map and 3 printable item cards with this as well, which is cool. So you get to see all 19 pages, very kind to let you look at it. Very cool wizard's layout inside. That's a cool dungeon map as well. Underwater dungeon map. Then you've got all this information on the different areas. New monsters. Sahugans. And methods. And then you've got these magic items, so we'll read one of these. I like the barnacle breastplate. It says armor, rare. This piece of armor has been on the seafloor for so long that barnacles have attached to it and encrusted it with an extra layer of protection. The armor counts as a breastplate +1. So that's a really cool visual. You can say, oh, your armor is like covered in barnacles. Really cool. And then they've got the sack of all spices. But let's roll back up here and see if we can find some flavor text to read for you. So we'll start here at the beginning. When the party first approaches the reef, read or paraphrase the following. The seafloor is filled with many colorful corals, barnacles, seashells, and an extreme variety of sea life. It all seems to sprout from a central immense coral dome, which looks like an explosion of anemone, seaweed, and spiky coral. There are a handful of shipwrecks littering the seabed. Some of these look to be ancient, as their wood is rotten and has welded itself to the sea floor. So it seems like a really interesting spot with lots of things happening. And you've got all this coral and this cool little underwater that you got to swim to. You know, you got to do your water breathing or whatever to be able to deal with this area. So yeah, it looks fun. I mean, you don't often see underwater adventures. There was a whole book called Underwater Campaigns on DM's Guild that was pretty popular that came out this year. So you could probably use things that you got in that book if you grab that book with this one. And just really, really enjoy exploring underwater and having adventure. And I like the visualness of the coral. You might even pick up some, dead coral online and paint it different colors and use it as props, or maybe to surround your minis with. If you're playing with minis, you could have some kind of neon coral or something to play with, and just have fun with it. So check it out under Reef of Memories in the video description links. Give it a click. Next, we have Patolus, the Runeblood Blessing by Sean K. Reynolds and from Monty Cook Games for $5.99. It says, a mysterious ritual offers magical ability to all who want it for the low price of 1 gold. In fact, today only, just a single silver shield, you too can cast magic. As much as you like, as often as you like. It's easy. And the blood red rune on your face, it's a symbol of the power you've gained, a symbol that's becoming more and more popular among nobles, elites, adventurers, and everyday folk of Patolus. Sounds too good to be true, right? It sounds like it probably is. So this 5th edition compatible module is focused on what is going on with this Runeblood Blessing. And it says, as the Runeblood Blessing becomes increasingly common, a mysterious sickness spreads throughout the city, and a crime wave threatens to lead to an all-out war between Patolus' criminal organizations. What is the connection? What does the mysterious sorcerer Vlyn, creator of Runeblood Blessing, stand to gain from its proliferation? And how does all of this connect to the gloomy demi-realm called the Shadow of Patolus? The Runeblood Blessing is a hefty standalone adventure set in Patolus, Monty Cook's City by the Spire, suitable for 5th edition characters of roughly 6th level, or Cypher system characters of roughly 3rd tier, and can easily be adjusted upward or downward in difficulty. So I like this. I mean, I can imagine various things that could be going on. I mean, if you get this rune mark that you have to wear on your face, or this sort of symbol, blood red rune, maybe somebody can control you later, or they get to see through your eyes, or who knows what could be going on if you have this mark on your face because you've taken this shady deal. And then there's this whole shadow of Patolus. So I think it's a lot of fun and a good concept. And I've always liked Patolus. I love urban settings, so Patolus has always been cool in my eyes. And I think it's fun. So check it out under Runeblood Blessing in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Tomb of Palu, a 5th edition adventure for levels 1 to 2 by Austin Conrad and Menagerie Press. It's $11.99 for 25 pages. It's a level 1 to 2 adventure. And it says the adventurers explore an ancient tomb to break a curse, destroying Pine Bend Village. Beneath the earth, the party discovers the sleeping god Palu, now long forgotten. After braving the god's ritual underworld, the adventurers must make a choice that impacts their world forever. So you get to see inside. I really enjoy the cover. Let's see. You get to see all 25 pages. That's incredible. So you can really read through it and see if it's going to work for you. You can see all these nicely formatted pages with cool borders. We'll just scroll to the end real fast so you can see some of the stuff if it's going to cooperate. Yep, it did. Okay, sometimes the site slows down a little bit. All right, so yeah, look at all this. Maps, lots of flavor text and artwork throughout so it doesn't get too hard on your eyes. Something called the Hall of Sacrifices. Yeah, looks fun. So let's read about the Green Gate Inn here. A sour-faced man with gray temples and a thin mustache sits crying at a table, a half-full wine glass in his hand. A red-eyed, matronly woman in an apron sits beside him, arm around his shoulder. There are several empty wine bottles on the table the two humans are sitting at. Stefanos and Maria Cabela, emotionally overwhelmed human commoners, own the only lodging house in Pine Bend, the Green Gate Inn. They hope that the adventurers can undo the curse or that the travelers pass through and don't make Pine Bend's situation worse. The Green Gate Inn is a 2-story stone inn and has stone walls surrounding a rectangular courtyard near the village center. An oak gate covered in peeling green paint is propped open by a barrel. Adventurers can rest here overnight for free. Nice. The innkeepers have 2 private rooms with 3 beds each, and they gladly let adventurers stay for free if they're working to undo the temporal curse, or appear to be doing so. So very nice. And then they have something called the Spade and Plow. It says inside the general store, shelves are piled with rope, ceramic flasks of ointment and oil, and other sundries. A tall green-skinned woman flashes a one-fang smile. So some interesting characters and sounds like a lot of stuff they're going to have to deal with down in the depths. Bottom of the well is a section here. And there's some characters. There's this town. There's a god. So all of this stuff can be used separately. It could be a base of operations. Since this is a level 1 to 2 adventure, you could start with the characters at level 1, then they save the day, and maybe they get to use this inn as their headquarters, because it sounds like they're going to let them stay there for free if they're helping. So, I'm sure the innkeepers would be very grateful if they resolve the problems. And it's cool to get to deal with a new god and with some fun art. So yeah, check it out under Tomb of Palu in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got Treatise of Adventure, How to Play, Rules, and Other Cool Ideas by Mark Bartosek and Bewilder Games. It's a free book on a suggested price of $0 for 11 pages. And this is just one of several books that Bewilder Games released this week. And it says, learn how to play this 5th edition styled game for kids. The treatise explains how to adventure in this 5th edition super light styled games for young minds. Simplified gameplay, easy to understand rules, short narratives for small attention spans. Our adventures are written for families to focus on fun. The treatise includes a few pre-gen characters so you can begin the adventure right away. And then, like I said, they have several books. I think they released 3, and I think there might be another one that's free. I'm not sure, but there's a pay what you want down here, Treatise of Creation. This is cool. It's like introducing kids to the game, but not going hard on all the rules. Maybe you're a busy parent and you just don't have time to get as much D&D in as you'd like, but with this, you can maybe play a scaled down version with your kids, get them interested, do something that's good for shorter attention spans, and then as they get older, introduce them to the more complex official version of the game. So, but it looks really fun, and let's look inside. They have some really playful artwork in here too. So you get to see 5 of the 11 pages. So it talks about how to play, getting everything set up, winning the game, vocabulary, how to read the rules. And then look at this adorable artwork that's in here. Death and differentiation. I mean, all of these. I mean, this little guy here. I mean, so cool. All these characters are fun. Just definitely shows you that they're putting passion into this. I mean, they're giving this away for free. You get this art for free to look at, right? It says winning the game. The game ends when players kill all the monsters, defeat the evil wizard, capture the bad guy, or whatever the point of the module was. Congratulate the kids, reminisce about the events of the game, and keep them interested and excited for next time. Have fun and don't get too caught up in the semantics. So, and then it talks about what to deal with. So, most of the rules are basically 5th edition rules, but just maybe watering it down a little bit so that kids can play. And it talks about how the turns go, because kids can have really short attention spans, and so you can't necessarily go deep into the 5th edition rule set and doing all the things, right? And now with the holidays coming, you're going to have lots of kids around that maybe you don't normally get to see, and maybe you're their uncle or aunt or some other relative, and you want to just have a fun time with them while you get a chance. This might be a fun way. And it looks like you can get 2 of the books here for reasonable. I mean, this one is free, and I think that's good. Support Bewilder, helping these kids, and check out their other stuff. I know they have one that's inexpensive. In fact, we'll just click on it. And look, so they've got the Tempest Tower, but yeah, they've got the Tempest Tower, which is only $3.99. It's an actual adventure, and then they've got this treatise and the other treatise that are free to just kind of get you set up on dealing with younger minds, and then you can get their adventure if you want for $3.99. They have some other stuff too that's free. So, I mean, let's support these creators that are giving you stuff for free for sure and trying to help kids get into the game, because, the kids are going to help keep this game going, right? So check it out under Treatise of Adventure in the video descriptions links, and give it a click. Next, we have Wandering DM's Dungeon Design Dash number 1, Asymmetric Monastery of the Deranged Berserkers. And so the Wandering DMs, they have a YouTube channel. You can see one of their videos down here. So check them out and give them a subscribe while you're at it. And this is only 99 cents. And the authors are Dan Collins and Paul Siegel. 4 pages. And it says Dan and Pal, the Wandering DMs, set themselves up with the challenge of stocking an entire dungeon in under 2 hours on their weekly live stream. What you see here is the output, a 1-page dungeon-style adventure through an ancient monastery that has been long neglected and ravaged by nature. It features a sentient extraplanar ooze and a group of deranged warriors who worship it as their slimy overlord. And then they have a Patreon that they give this to as well. But it's cool that they're having it here for only 99 cents. I mean, that's a really cheap price for a whole module, and you can see kind of the map and information on how they're doing it. I mean, to populate a whole dungeon in 2 hours is a cool challenge, but it sounds like it's fun, and you could watch behind the scenes. I mean, how often do you get to do that? Buy a book and then watch a video on behind the scenes of how it came together, so you can kind of see how they populated it with their video, and check out the other stuff on their channel. But let's look inside at 2 of the pages that you get to see for free. And this is for OSR, by the way. I should mention that. All right, so here's one of the pages. It says, once the final resting place of good Saint Barcelos, the monastery has been long neglected and ravaged by nature. An underground river has cut through the once sacred halls, and an extraplanar rift has formed in the ceiling of the underground shrine. Through the rift, a strange sentient ooze has emerged, which is now worshipped by a group of deranged warriors. The warriors make pilgrimage once a year down the underground river to visit the new holy place, make sacrifices to their slimy overlord, and gather the gases it emits to fuel their savage bloodlust. So, very cool. And, I mean, look at this map. So you see the river running right through this monastery, and so you've got all kinds of things going on. And they're worshiping this slimy ooze being, and you got some deranged people roaming through it. It sounds like a good time. And again, for 99 cents, you can get the book and then watch the video and learn how they went about filling in and populating it. I think that's really fun. You don't get to have that experience much with books. So look for it in the video description links under WDM01 Dungeon Design-1 and give it a click. Well, that's our last drive-through title for the week. Before we go on to the DM's Guild titles for the week, let me just remind you to please subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at Splinterverse so you can keep up with all the exciting things coming in 2022 from Splinterverse Media. Also, like the video, leave us a comment. I'll respond to all those comments. Share the video with your friends so people can find out about this series. Click those links to support the creators featured in today's video. And if you purchase anything by clicking those links, it's going to give a small percentage to the channel. So be sure to use those links. And if you're feeling especially generous today, consider purchasing one of the books from Splinterverse Media. Those are listed in the video description links as well. We've got the Feywild Compendium, which is almost a platinum bestseller at 1,000 copies sold. So please help us reach that. We're very close, and it'll be exciting to reach that goal of hitting platinum. And it's got tons of Feywild stuff for players and DMs alike. I mean, over 150 pages of just good times and tons of tokens for VTT and maps and everything in there. And then we've got Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, which has dragon-themed subclasses for every class, all kinds of horde magic items, a familiar, you name it, it's in there, dragon-related for you and your players. And then we've got Potions Unlocked, which has taken potions ultimately to the next level, really expanded upon them. You can craft them, you can take them beyond being just a boring element in your game. There's short stories for every single potion in the book, so you get the full backstory that your potion seller can rattle off to your players for fun. There's maps. There's even an Academy of Supreme Wizardry, which you can use with the new Strixhaven rules. And it talks in my book about how to train on making potions, so you can combine that with some of the other classes and things that are offered in Strixhaven rules to have a different magical academy setting if you want. And then we've got Van Richten's Librum of Lineages, which goes into 4 brand new lineages suitable for any setting, and optional rules for handling lineages, which are new this year, so it's helpful to have those optional rules. And we've got Secrets of the Draugr, which offers a brand new race that is half Draugr, or half Drow and half Duergar. And there's deities that go with the Draugr, as well as NPCs and adventure hooks and all kinds of good stuff in there, some subclasses. So check all those books out in the links below and give them a click. All right, on to DM's Guild. Our first DM's Guild title this week is Academy of Adventure, Volume 1 by Quill and Cauldron, Scott McClintock, Mark Altfoldis, and Kathleen Harrington. And it's $3.99 for 54 pages. And it says, much like Arcavios has Strixhaven, the Sword Coast has Headmaster Vance's Academy of Adventure. No finer training can be found either up or down the Sword Coast than that of the Academy. Here, an adventurer can learn firsthand from the masters of their craft. The Academy currently serves as the training grounds for the next generation of heroes of the Forgotten Realms, the future Elminsters, Drizzits, and Lair Silverhands of Faerun. The Academy Adventure is a fully fleshed out locale that can be easily inserted into any homebrew or published campaign. Also included is a modular adventure intended to take players from 1st to 3rd level. This product as a whole has enough material to accommodate more than 20 hours of gameplay, yet can be easily adapted to play as a one-shot. And it's got a fully fleshed out Academy campus that includes an arboretum and a zoo, 5 additional adventuring parties, which can serve as antagonists or allies, the Demo Dragons, Iconics, Marauders, Shadow Slayers, and Meepo's minions, dozens of curricular encounters ranging from socialization to battle, designed to teach the nuances of 5th edition to newer players while also challenging veterans, underground grottos filled with genetically engineered abominations, cheered on by students wagering over who can survive the longest, the deadly caves of shadow, where a long-dormant evil stirs from its ancient slumber, a race against time to rescue a Thayan mage from a drow elf prison, an epic encounter in Shadowfell Keep to save the world from the incursion of the thing from the portal, and a terrible secret so powerful that it will literally shadow the world of those who survive discovering it. So it says, although accessible to veteran players, the adventure is true to its name and provides many opportunities for the DM to teach the game to new players. It can be easily used as a springboard into any larger campaign, but it's optimized as a lead into the Rise of Vecna, the second installment of the doomed Forgotten Realms adventure path. So yeah, coming soon, they're going to have the Rise of Vecna, and you can continue on from there if you want. And this is from the folks that brought you epic characters and some of the playing guides here, as well as the recent Heroes Handbook, with beautiful artwork as usual from them. And just seems really fun. I think there's a lot of cool stuff in here, and it goes well with Strixhaven. And it's 54 pages for a really low price of only $3.99. So I think you should check it out under Academy of Adventure in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Arena of Champions, the Path of the Dredger. It's a new barbarian path from Daylight Publications for $2 for 5 pages. It says, there are those barbarians who look to the beasts of the mountains to follow and learn from. Those who follow blindly in the feet of their gods yet chose a different path. In the middle of a great storm on the seacoast, you saw a massive shape looming out of the waves. It resembled a titanic diver entombed in armor and dragging behind it a great anchor. You could sense the strength and power that radiates from it and it from you. When the storm died, on your wrist was tattooed a glowing anchor, and the deep drone of the dredger fills your thoughts. Find a new barbarian path inspired by the Titan of the Depths, wield a mighty anchor, and harness the power of the seas. Bruna Rodak's amazing art makes it all the more epic. Yes, this art is epic looking. So here's an example of the barbarian. What a cool looking outfit with all the sort of nautical themed stuff on it. Looks like an old diving set of gear even. So let's look inside. There's just the quick preview. They don't have the full preview right now accessible, so we can only look at the quick one, but it looks pretty cool. They got something called a staggering swing, a dredger's wake, dredger's walk, and an abyssal anchor. So very fun. And the art is really cool. Even on the cover, you've got that dredger going through and dealing with some sharks. So check it out in the links in the video description under Arena of Champions, Path of the Dredger, and give it a click. Next we have Born to be Kobold. It says, immerse yourself in Kobold's lore and options in this expansion. From Marco Giulio Fossati and Marco Bertini, $1.99 for 13 pages. It says there's a table with 12 effects that might happen when a kobold successfully hits a creature, 2 new playable kobold sub-races, 5 new kobold monsters, 8 new traps, 100 trinkets specifically suited for a kobold character, and hypertext links inside, which is nice. So you've got your table of contents here, and you can see some of the war tactics like hit and run. Kobolds are good at guerrilla warfare. They hide usually in dark places, avoiding close combat, trying to weaken their foes through range attacks and dividing them until they have the superiority in numbers, and they can surround the opponent, gaining the benefit of the pack tactics trait. Cool. And they've got all kinds of information here, like here's a sample trap called Blinding Burst, which is level 1 to 4, dangerous threat, and it's got the trigger effect and countermeasures, which is nice. So let's take a look at the interior with this fun cover with the hiding kobold here on the front. And so they've got the trinkets, the sub races, and then they go into the tactics as well as some NPCs. So you've got Hit and Run, which we read, and the Blinding Burst here, and then you've got the Kobold NPCs like the Poisoner. So let's read a little bit about the Poisoner. It says, Kobold Poisoners master the art of venoms and are also resilient to them. They usually create poison from insects they search near or inside their caves. So they've got Poisonous Dagger, Poisonous Dart, and Poisonous Cocktail actions. So twice a day, the Kobold Poisoner hurls a glass bottle towards a point that it can see within 30 feet. The bottle hurts when it hits a solid surface, creating a poisonous 15-foot sphere centered on that point that lasts until the Kobold Poisoner's end of their next turn. Each creature that starts its turn there or moves into that sphere for the first time in the turn must make a Constitution saving throw, taking poisonous damage and being poisoned for 1 minute on a failed save or half as much, and no other ill effects on a successful one. At the end of each of its turns, an affected creature can make another con saving throw, ending the effect on a success. So some poisoner fun stuff, and you can see other things that the creature has, like the normal stuff that a kobold has like sunlight sensitivity, but it's got a resistance to poison, which is, appropriate since it's a poisoner. So looks like a lot of fun. So check it out in the video description links under Born to be Kobold. Give it a click. Next we have Capmon Handbook by Josiah Cuddle, and it's $14.95 for 130 pages. So it's a large book. It says a complete guide to Capmon, a brand new way to fight. Fighters use weapons and wizards use spells, but the classes inside capture and command monsters to fight for them. The Capmon Handbook includes a Capmon leveling table, 3 new Capmon classes, 10 subclasses for each class, including a villain subclass. So 3 classes and then 10 plus subclasses for each. So that's a lot of stuff. New feats for Capmon, new magic items for Capmon classes, and 60 monster stat blocks, mostly ranging from CR 1-4 to 6 and more. It says fight alongside dire wolves and explore the world atop the backs of mammoths using this new book. Raise your companions until they have strength to rival giants, fire dripping from their fangs and metal coating their claws. No longer shall your wolf companion or griffin steed die from the lich's fireball, but you shall delve into the heat of battle alongside your animal companions. A whole new world of companions awaits you, so come and begin your journey. So it sounds fun, like a summoner class, I guess. There's no full-size preview, unfortunately, but we can look a little bit through the flip preview. So it gives you the basics of Capmon, and they've got their table of contents. So looks like a bestiary at the end. Yeah, it's hard to read because it's small, but you get the idea. And I love the cover. I think it's gorgeous. So check it out under Capmon Handbook in the links and give it a click. Next, we got Case of the Wayward Finale, All Things Lost Find Their Way Here by Brandon Ashcraft and Ashenworks for $6.95 for 21 pages. It's a Tier 2 adventure designed for 6th to 8th level characters. Your party will find that something has gone missing with 6 different adventure hooks to choose from. The party will find the Wayward Library, a mysterious bigger on the inside dungeon filled with new creatures, magic items, and of course, books. This module is designed to run as written for a 4 to 8 hour adventure, or with convention chaos formats for fast-paced zany action. Face off against creatures such as the swarm of flying quills or the mighty book guardian, and meet NPCs such as Geoffrey the Lost and Wayward the Librarian. So some of the things that we're reading in here sound appropriate for Strixhaven campuses or Candlekeep or any of these locations. Even we looked earlier at the book that had its own academy. So lots of locations where these, swarm of flying quills or book guardian could be appropriate. So that's nice. Says it includes 21 pages of adventure, magic items, and creatures, 6 adventure hooks, 6 new magic items, including the Books of Tutoring or the Wayward Satchel. Those sound fun as well. 10 new creatures such as the Swarm of Flying Quills and an animated spell book. So again, I think these have a lot of potential with Strixhaven and just any academy setting. I mean, if you bought Potions Unlocked, there's an academy in there. You could use it with that. If you have your own Hogwarts setting, you name it, it fits. So looking inside, got some playtesters and other credits here. Your table of contents. So finding the way, exploring the area, and escaping the area, and the magic items, monsters, and NPCs. So nice organization here. You get to see all 21 pages. So you can really read through the whole thing here. It looks like they've got a little interesting numbered map here. Rooms, bookshelf mimic, swarm of lost items, a flying wand, living potions, all kinds of fun stuff. Ink elemental. I mean, all of these sound like they'd really be good for Strixhaven or any kind of academic or library style setting. So like I said, Candlekeep seems like these would work great for. So we'll swing in and read on the Swarm of the Flying Quills here. It says, the swarm of flying quills is not a swift death, but rather a trip to a deadly acupuncturist. These quills were originally used to write history, but the swarm will be ending someone's history instead. And then they've got, of course, the swarm action or trait, and then you've got anti-magic susceptibility, false appearance, and then Calamus Quill. It says it's a melee weapon attack and does piercing damage for the swarm, so that's fun. They're going to basically stab you, these quills, if they get after you. And then you've got living potions. Potions that have been animated become living potions. These creatures act in line with the contents within themselves. Potions of flying may have a fly speed and hover about aimlessly. Potions of resistance may burn with their elemental essence. These are but a few examples of what can be created. It's a fun idea. You got chromatic splash action here for this living potion. So all kinds of items, monsters, and stuff in here, academic related. So check it out in the video description links under Case of the Wayward Finale and give it a click. Next we have the Circle Mage, a Wizard Arcane Tradition by Sam McGurran. A suggested price of $4.99 for 19 pages on Pay What You Want. Circle Mages are wizards who form a circle of companions in order to augment their own strength. This takes many forms, including hag covens, arcane orders, and magical institutes. These mages understand that they are far more powerful as part of a collective than they are alone, and that unity is a strength rather than a hindrance. Circle Mages can channel their companions to enhance their spells, gain access to spells from other classes, and even borrow spell slots. So, and then the author says, the Circle Mage is written to enhance cooperation between party members. It provides a way for wizards to learn spells from their allies and give allies new reactions to aid their wizard. So you get the subclass, some inspired backgrounds, magic items, NPCs, and villains. So it sounds like a lot of good stuff. Looking inside, you get to see all 19 pages. So you can read the whole book and decide if it's going to work for you. And it's hyperlinked, which is helpful. So you can see there's the subclass and the backgrounds and then the magic items, etc. And all kinds of fun stuff. Look at all this really nice art in here. So you can see the whole book. So you can see they've got all kinds of NPCs and villains you can use. So let's scroll back up and read a little bit about the features for this particular mage. So the 10th level feature is when you cast a wizard spell 1st through 5th level that deals damage, a number of circle members with 60 feet equal to the spell's level may expend their reaction. If they do so, you may deal maximum damage with that spell. You may use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. So basically harnessing the party to be able to do max damage. At 6th level, you get Circle Channeler. Your magic has become linked to that of your circle members, allowing you to borrow their power. When you cast a spell, you may use a circle member spell slot instead of your own, and with their permission, if you do, you must then expend a spell slot and they regain a spell slot at the same level. Once you have used a circle member spell slot this way, you may not use this feature again until you have completed a short rest. So, really fun concept, and it ties into hag covens, arcane orders, all that good stuff. And then you've got items like Armor of the Mind Mage and Orobo Ring, Outsider's Almanac. So lots to be had in here at a pay what you want price. So check it out under Circle Mage in the links below and give it a click. Next we have the Cloistered Cove. It's a supplement for Wild Beyond the Witchlight by Daniel Kahn, and it's part of a series. We've covered, I think, all of the previous pieces to the series. And it's really meant to just add encounters and things to the existing Wild Beyond the Witchlight. So it says Chapter 3, Thither, is the second portion of Prismere described in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Each of the locations presented in this chapter can be explored quickly outside of Loomlurch. This mini-adventure aims to add a new location, the Cloistered Cove, and integrate it seamlessly into the flow of the chapter. At this location, characters can partake in some tactical combat or find clever ways to avoid it, engage more deeply with Will of the Feywild, and potentially even rescue a guide to Yon. So, if you want to extend your experience with Wild Beyond the Witchlight by adding more encounters and things, then this series is a good one. Or if you want to run it for the 3rd, 4th time and you want to mix it up and change it, or you feel like your players may have read the book, there's so many reasons to consider this as a supplement. And it says it aims to expand and potentially expose the backstory of some of the characters with this whimsical adventure. As always, it is up to you how much of the content you want to use. So you can just use pieces if you want. And it assumes a party of 46 characters of 4th level with scaling options for higher level ones. And it's going to give you that new location in Thither, and you can fight or not using the VTT maps, and then there's some expanded backstory and lore. And then I would also say to you, people are creating their own domains of delight, just like they did with Ravenloft with the domains of dread. So if you want to create your own domain of delight and put the Cloistered Cove there, I don't see why you couldn't. So pretty cool. And same goes for the rest of Daniel Kahn's other books, because they're mostly new locations. Some are expanded locations or changed locations, but you could easily rename them and put them in a new domain of delight as well. So lots of options with some really nice maps and artwork, and it looks like a lot of fun. So look for it under Cloistered Cove in the links below and give it a click. And before you do, here's a quick look inside. Just get to see the mini preview, but I just love the artwork. So check it out in those links. Give it a click. Next we have Cry Havoc, subclasses, feats, items, and pets for potential dog owners by Logyar for a suggested price of 99 cents on Pay What You Want. Cry Havoc is a supplement focused on canine companions. It contains 6 new subclasses in order to suit any playstyle that wishes to add furry friends to their game. The Houndmaster Paladin hunts down his foes with a trained hound that can sniff out enemies. The Stray Rogue has a nimble friend that can aid in deception, combat, and thievery. The Trainer Fighter has a small pack that can be ordered and commanded meticulously. The Pack Barbarian has a wolf and a pack that can support one another in combat, etc. There's more. And then there's stat sheets for small and tiny dogs in order to support smaller breeds, as well as big ones. And then there are items to support the use of canines, such as dog training tools, and feats such as Dog Trainer to give access to canines to even more players. So sounds fun. I'm a dog lover, so I always like seeing things that involve puppies and dogs. So you've got the overview, and then you get to see the paladin. You get to see the whole book, so you can read all of these subclasses, see if any of them are ones you want to use, and see all the stat blocks at the end for the packs. So we'll just look at one of these. Let's look at the wizard here. School of Canids. At the second level, when you choose a school, you gain a faithful canine companion. In combat, this canine companion shares your initiative count, and it can move and use a reaction on its own, etc. And when you gain this dog, the dog's intelligence becomes equal to yours. Your dog gains a proficiency in Arcana. In addition, your dog may learn a single first-level spell from the wizard spell list, and your dog can cast the spell freely without expending a spell slot once per long rest. So very fun. And then at 6th level, you gain the ability to switch places with your dog as a bonus action, so long as they are within 30 feet of you. And your dog gains telepathy up to a range of 30 feet. And then at 10th level, your dog can cast Speak with Animals and Detect Magic, and can cast them freely without the use of a spell slot or components. In addition, your dog may learn a single 3rd level spell from the wizard spell list, and your dog may cast the spell freely without expending a spell slot. So lots of fun stuff going on with the wizard and its canine companion, and that's just one of the subclasses. There's a whole bunch of them in here, 6 of them, as well as other stuff at a really low price of only 99 cents on the suggested price, but you can pay more or less if you need to, but I suggest paying something. And you can look for it in the video description links under Cry Havoc. Give it a click. Next we have The Curious Case of Dr. Lila Amato by Indy Pino, and it's $1.95 for 12 pages. It says, in a small house near a small town, a wizard attempts to create a spell that could change the world. But who will help her out when things go wrong? And can they survive the dangers in her strange house? This 2-hour adventure is designed for 4th, 5th to 8th level characters and has them exploring the house of Dr. Lila Amato. Players will be searching for a way to undo a spell while overcoming obstacles like the shrinking spider, a rare insect that reduces its victims down to its size. The adventure includes a full map of the house, stat block needed to run the adventure artwork, and a map, as well as a printer-friendly version. So let's look inside. Oh, look at this fun artwork. So yeah, lots of cool artwork. You're getting to see almost the whole book because you're seeing 10 pages, and probably without the covers, this is the whole book. So looks fun. I love the little artwork in here. I think that's really cool. And then you got a clay golem in here, and here's the main room, the green room, living library. Yeah, this looks like a really fun adventure. You got stat blocks. So let's zoom in and read a little bit about some of this stuff. So it says, Dr. Lila Amato is known as a helpful figure, although somewhat reclusive. The local townsfolk have many stories about how Lila used her magic to repair items or purified a stagnant well. They have more stories about her strange behavior. She keeps to herself, but is often seen talking to a small doll in the shape of a green man with a mustache. Rumor has it that strange creatures can be seen leaving and entering her house at random times. They say the good doctor furthers her magic by trying it out on herself first, and that these spells have her in shifted form on occasion, or leave her in shifted form on occasion. Lila is a transmuter who is well versed in magic, always focused on improving her abilities. She keeps to herself, but she has made a few companions. She can often be seen carrying a small green doll named Thaddeus, who is a homunculus she created. The two have a strong bond together, and although Thaddeus can't speak, they can communicate via a telepathic link. Her other companion is Mr. Roxby, a clay golem that she spent a full month creating. She entrusts them to watch over things as he acts as a caretaker for the house. So there you go. That's what some of these characters are. And I love the artwork for them. They look pretty fun and flavorful. And I think the whole idea seems really cool. It looks like it could be like a really cool little one-shot. And then you've got some continuing possibilities here if you want to make it a full campaign. So yeah, check it out in the video description link under Curious Case of Dr. Lila Amato. Give it a click. Next we have Heroes of Strixhaven from ERF Jordan, $2.95 for 8 pages. It says, among those who walk these hallowed halls, you can find the future of Arcavios, guardians who will rise up against world-ending threats, warriors who will protect the common folk, scholars who will discover the secrets of the universe, even tyrants who will wield their power like bloodthirsty iron. The knowledge we teach here is neither good nor evil, but what you do with it is up to you. So it introduces 8 new subclasses themed around Strixhaven. So the Artificer is called the Timekeeper, the Bard is the College of History, Druid is Circle of Pests, and the Wizard is the School of Elemental Arts. But that's just a few out of the 8 that are included in the book. So looking inside, you get to see all 8 pages, so you can get a really good look at the book before you decide to get it. So you've got Timekeeper, description here, and then all of the features, and then the Bard, College of History, etc. So we'll read one of these in just a minute. So let's read the Wizard. We've been reading the Wizard ones today, so let's read more of the Wizards. So this one is the School of Elemental Arts. It says the mages of Prismari College are unparalleled in controlling the elements, twisting them into their weird and impossible forms and unleashing them on their surroundings. While evocation wizards have a similar grasp of the elements, wizards of the school forgo destructive force in favor of flexibility and creativity. So artistic training, you gain proficiency in one set of artisans' tools of your choice, and in one musical instrument. And then also you have learned to translate one element into another, causing flames to behave like water, lightning like smoke, and so on. When you cast a wizard spell that deals acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage, you can cause a spell to deal a different damage type from this list instead. So that's cool. And then you've got the Elemental Ward at 6th level. You know how to protect yourself when messing with the elements. When you finish a long rest, choose acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. You are resistant to the chosen damage type until the end of your next long rest. And at 10th level, you can imbue the elements with a spark of sentience for short periods, temporarily creating life. You add the summon elemental spell to your spellbook if it isn't there already. You can cast it without a material component and can cast it once without expending a spell slot, regaining the ability to do so again after a long rest. While you are concentrating on the spell granted by this feature, you can expend a use of your immutable spells feature to change the type of the summoned elemental to another described in the spell. So that's cool. You can kind of mix it up with your summon elemental, kind of switch it in the middle. And then when you get to 14th level, you've learned how to move with the flow of primal magic in the world. When you take damage of one of the types listed in your elemental ward feature, you can change which type you are resistant to as a reaction, choosing another. So you're becoming really comfortable with those elements, which makes sense if that's your focus as a wizard. So it looks fun. Lots of cool subclasses to kind of spice things up. There weren't any subclasses in the Strixhaven book, so this book kind of fills that gap. So check it out under Heroes of Strixhaven in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have The Legend of Sir Nicholas, A Christmas Adventure in Icewind Dale for level 1 to 5 characters by Palu Pinna, $4 for 26 pages. And it says, there's nothing quite like a visit to the Tin Town in midwinter. The legend of Sir Nicholas handed down in this region intrigues you. But the very unique thing about it is that this legend could be a sound reality. You will have a chance to meet this legendary character and perhaps save his legacy from danger. All of this will be possible thanks to the magic of the young ones. Let yourself be carried away by the enchantment of this Christmas adventure and its fairy tale places. It's a 4-hour adventure for 1st through 5th level characters, optimized for average party level of 4. So sounds like it could be really fun, and you could even though it's optimized for 4, you could maybe have people make characters that are 3 or 4 and just start there instead of starting at 1. Again, with the holidays, having something that you can do with the family that are visiting, or if you're visiting family, this sounds like a fun holiday themed adventure. It's got maps, handouts, and tokens. So let's take a look inside. So yeah, very nice artwork. 3 of the 26 pages are available to look at here. So you got the adventure primer, hooks, the beginning of the adventure, visiting Bryn Shander. So it's let's zoom in and look at the adventure hooks. So it's set in the lands of perpetual cold, and it easily connects to the Icewind Dale saga, but can be played as a standalone adventure. The festival, the characters come to these lands because they were intrigued by the Tin Towns Foundation Festival, which will be held in a few weeks. The characters are escorting a caravan traveling from Luskan. The merchants will play well, and they offer them a few days room and board before leaving. And then the third option is in search of knowledge. The characters have traveled to the lands of Icewind Dale to study the legends and lore of this never-ending winter realm. So some fun options to kick off the adventure and lead you towards dealing with Sir Nicholas, which I think, again, it looks like it could be perfect for some sort of holiday gathering with family or friends, or maybe just mixing it up. Maybe take a break from your regular campaign and do something fun like this with some brand new characters. Give your players a break. Maybe some of them are going to be gone right for the holidays, and so you're losing some players anyway. So rather than continuing your existing campaign, you decide to do this fun little one shot. I think it's a good idea. So check it out in those video description links under Legend of Sir Nicholas and give it a click. Next we have Lost Mines Maps, Phandalin, Town Master's Hall, Smithy, Woodcarvers, and Shrine of Luck from Carl Terrence Vandal for $2 for 24 pages. So 4 essential locations from the town of Phandalin, from Lost Mines of Phandelver and Dragon of Icespire's Peak modules that are official. And it says this map pack provides detailed maps of all 4 locations and includes a number of variations: grid, no grid, day, night, etc. So you can add atmosphere to your game. Looking inside here, you can see all the pages. You got all the links here. It's hyperlinked, and then it talks about each of the locations, and then you can see how cool they look. So you've got this one. Yep. And then, yeah, variations. So this would be more like of a night version. And then, yeah, you got the Watch Bell Tower, the Phandalin Smithy, the Woodcarver. I mean, just tons of cool maps. I like this one, the Shrine of Luck. It looks really nice. Torches and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, really, really helpful. If you're going to play those modules that I mentioned, you might need some of these maps. And I like that there's so many variations, no grid, night, day, etc. So check it out under Lost Mines Maps and those links below and give it a click. Next we have Lost Prison of Eternity, a high concept adventure for levels 16 to 20 by TTRPG Factory, with a suggested price of $2 on Pay What You Want for 21 pages. It's a plane hopping adventure designed for high level play from the ground up. Take your PCs from levels 16 to 20 in this plane hopping high magic arc. Stop a treasonous priest of Therizadun from siphoning his power and destroying the material plane in the process. Adventure to the ethereal, Hades, Elysium, and Sigil are just some of the locations you're going to go to in this particular adventure. So looking inside, you get to see 3 of the 21 pages. So there's a starting point where there have frequently asked questions like, I've never played a high-level game. Is my PC up to snuff? Why aren't the gods interfering? What about other adventuring groups? Why should we level? Or when should we level? What magic items should we start with, etc.? And it looks like they've even talked about hard mode, recommended, and we have a caster, recommended but no casters, and then the easy mode. So that's nice and helpful. And then you got a prologue and then Act 1. So very nice. Let's read a little bit of the Act 1 material here. It says the skies are black and it's raining soot and embers. In the distance, they see a newly built two-tiered black inverted ziggurat and obax. Demons run amok, causing havoc, and terrified screams echo across the landscape. Glabrezu, leading squads of Balruga of rock flocks, fly about. Within the first hour of being on the surface, the PCs should encounter one. The DM can use these squads and flocks to draw the PCs toward the nearest obax, which is visible on the horizon and within a day's walks. During any encounter, random meteors fall from the sky, and that's pretty cool. And the obax is a cyclopean fortress carved from strange black stone. Its cubic geometric forms are clean and perfect. The base tier is easily 100 yards long and 50 foot tall, while the second tier is 3 times that. Clearly, it was erected suddenly, and rubble surrounds the base from where it seemingly burst from the ground itself. The base tier has open doorways, one in each face, lazily guarded by a Glabrezoak squad whose Bargura wrestle one another in boredom. So very flavorful, otherworldly plane going on here. And I like that there's all these plot points that they list for you. So it says Zobius's power is nigh infinite at this point and would be like fighting a god. Only the creator of the gems would know how to destroy them. And let's see what else. A general who is Theridazun info, including that he's such a bad dude that the good and evil deities teamed up to lock him away. So all kinds of stuff with Theridazun here that you can find out if you beat the appropriate DCs. And I like, again, that they've got these various modes: hard mode, easy mode, recommended. So super helpful and lots of fun planes involved. Who doesn't want to have a fun planner adventure? So check it out in the video description links under Lost Prison of Eternity and give it a click. Next, we have Oak and Thorn by Penny Blake. It's a suggested price of $0 on Pay What You Want. 48 pages. I think for that many pages, you should pay something because that's quite a lot. It says, by the pricking of my thumbs, something merry this way comes. Offered here for your delight, a festive adventure for your next game night. Hours 3 you have to play to solve the mystery and save the day. And that's a fun little rhyme. And it says the houses of Oak and Thorn have tormented the town of Boskage with their quarreling for more than a century. When the heirs of both households go missing, the town magistrate declares that enough is enough. If this latest fiasco isn't solved by sundown, the heads of Lady Oak and Lady Thorn will roll. Can your party solve the mystery before it's too late? It's an intersection of festive folklore and Shakespearean shenanigans. You'll find hat tips to the bard of all bards and to many seasonal myths, legends, and customs as your party tries to solve a mystery and restore peace to Boskage before the sun goes down. So inside you get 15 new festive-themed monsters, a steampunk nutcracker, a giant dancing goose, riddles to solve, a mistletoe maze, a talking Mary Wood, who most definitely isn't a god, and a band of mischievous orphans who will steal your heart and probably your wallet. So it's scalable for any level with a playing time of 2 to 3 hours, customizable with optional horror and or romance elements to suit your party's preferred style. So very fun. And yeah, I think that's cool. A lot of pages too. Let's take a look inside. So you get to see the entirety of it because it is a free book. But again, I would encourage you to support the author and encourage Penny to continue making books. So all kinds of stuff to read. There's tavern gossip, events going on. I mean, just scrolling through, you can see so much going on. Geese dancers. Again, a lot of these contents sound appropriate for the holidays. If you want to, get together with family or some friends and do a special event for the holidays, I think this is a really good option. I mean, dancing geese is not going to be something you forget, right? And then you've got a mistletoe grove. So let's read a little bit about the Mistletoe Grove. It says, everyone in the grove uses the Druid stat block and the basic rules. Lady Mistletoe grew up in Mistletoe Manor, a house steeped in the history of the Oak-Thorn affair. The great libraries and research laboratories were mines of information, and Lady Mistletoe soon became obsessed with botanic alchemy, local history, and the Oak-Thorn tree in particular. Sensing a connection between the tree, the family, and the cursed land, she has devoted her entire life to finding a solution that will bring peace and healing to all. Lady Mistletoe has a kind and altruistic nature. She is not interested in fame or power, but the mention of mistletoe in the rhyme connected to the Battle of Oak and Thorn has led her to believe that her destiny is to solve the problem. She has gathered a group of devoted followers who look up to her and share her vision for a better future, but as time to perform the blood magic ritual draws nearer, Lady Mistletoe's heart becomes heavy. She doesn't want her followers to see her wavering, but she wishes fervently there was another way. Aw, so that's good. And then you've got Fern, a human in late teens, and Holly, human early 30s, Willow, so this whole ivy, nice that they're all named after plants and trees. In the Mistletoe Grove. But yeah, I mean, just look at all the fun little lore you've got going on in here with the different characters. So that was just like one of the characters, but you can see all these different areas to the adventure with different things to do. And there's something called the Runaway Worm. Lucky Stars. In fact, let's just read the beginning of the Runaway Worm. It says, suddenly the mechanical purple worm decides it's had enough of the parade and is going to go on a little rampage through the town. So then you have to deal with that. That's fun. So it's a little encounter with various things happening on that table that you roll on. So yeah, I mean, you can grab this for free if you want. I would encourage you to support Penny and encourage more work from Penny and put something in here if you're going to get it. But I think it looks like it could be really cool. There's a lot of stuff you can use for other things. I mean, you could even have that runaway worm in any kind of parade or whatever going on in other homebrew things that you create. So lots to have here. So go down to the links and look for Oak and Thorn. Give it a click and grab a copy for yourself. Next, we have Oath of the Rising Sun, a paladin subclass by J.C. Darcy and Inde Penho. It's $1.96 for 5 pages. And I should mention J.C. Darcy was one of the collaborators on my Feywild Companion book. J.C. wrote some of the spells that we have in there. And there's some really fun spells in that book. So I'm excited that J.C. has another title out for you to check out. And it says Perseverance, Constancy, Illumination, Redemption. These are the values of the Paladin of the Sun. They are the ones that bring light to wherever they go, and with light follows hope. The paladin who swears the oath of the rising sun stands as a blazing beacon of hope, comfort, and warmth against the shadows of the world. Worshippers of deities such as Lathander, Pelor, or others might choose to swear this oath in the times of calamity or hardship, or to step up as a role model for a community. So you get the complete paladin subclass, 5 new themed spells for multiple classes, 3 legendary magic items that give additional features when used as a set. That's fun. I like set bonuses. And an accessible, simplified version intended to be screen reader friendly. That's also very helpful. So let's look inside. You get to see all 5 pages. So again, very generous to allow that. And you've got the full oath here, and then you've got some spells. So we'll probably just read one of the spells here and maybe a little bit of one of the magic items. But I think it's fun, having a paladin themed around the sun is just a natural fit. I like that. So I'm sure it's going to be really cool. So you got things like Burning Stare, Floating Lantern, Guardian's Melody, Radiant Shield, and Sunfire. So Sunfire is a 4th level evocation, and it's for paladin and sorcerers, and it's got a range of 120 feet. It says you hurl a hawk-shaped bundle of flames at a target or object within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 4d10 fire damage and must make a dex saving throw. On a fail, the creature catches fire. Until a creature takes actions to douse the fire, the target takes 1d10 fire damage at the start of each of its turns. So pretty deadly fire stuff. And then down here, we got some magic items like Zealot's Reckoning, Knight's Vigil, and Warden's Redoubt. So let's read about Zealot's Reckoning. It's a weapon, any sword, legendary, requires attunement by a paladin. You gain a +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon. The sword has 6 charges and regains 1d6 of expended charges daily at dawn. On a hit, the sword deals damage as normal, and you can expend 1 charge to deal an extra 2d10 radiant damage to the target. In addition, the golden grandeur of this blade gives you the power to imbue yourself with the authority that makes others fixate on you. You can expend 3 charges to cast Compelled Duel on up to 4 creatures of your choice. Yeah, this looks lots of fun. So check it out under Oath of the Rising Sun in the video descriptions links and give it a click. Next, we've got Ravenloft Random Encounters, Appendix 1, Barovia by Blue Goblin Games. It's $9.99 for 57 pages. It's the first in the series of manuals showcasing the various dark landscapes and spooky regions of the Ravenloft campaign setting. Within this book, you'll find all you need to set up dark and dastardly encounters for your gothic heroes as they traverse the deadly mists of the accursed land. So you've got 13 Barovian regions that are covered. So you've got bogs and locks, caverns and subterranean, cemeteries and necropoli, dungeons, Lake Zarovich, mountain ranges, etc., including some urban sprawl. So this is really designed to give you some fleshed out stuff. You get encounters that are prepared for you so that as a DM you don't have to prep all that, which is really helpful. And so you've got bestiary information and then all the areas. So in the introduction, so you get to see 7 of the 57 pages with some fun artwork in here. So this is just kind of explaining where all the beasts are from. So it looks like they're using some of the things like the Monster Manual Expanded, etc. Some of the other DM's Guild content, which is cool. You don't often see that. People using encounters with creatures from other third-party books. So yeah, you've got the regions in Barovia. So you got bogs and locks. Barovia hosts several misty bogs and small lakes throughout its shadowy landscape due to their abundance of fish and fertile soil that surrounds them. These areas are known to be inhabited by coastal fishing villages, as well as being known to attract all manner of dangerous wild beasts. This entry may also represent hidden underground lakes or ancient grottos. So this is kind of the encounter table for that. So you've got fishmongers, shocker lizards, Ravenloft hounds, bog critters, Dark Lord minions, etc. And the first one, fishmongers, a friendly group of local fishermen traveling to a settlement for trade. The group offers to help in the way of the purchasing of foodstuffs and some mundane goods. And then it gives you where their stat blocks are. But yeah, they have all these abbreviations to help you find the different stat blocks. So very, very cool and fun. Nice artwork. And again, I like that they're referencing other works, supporting those other creators as well by making them even more useful, those books like the Monster Manual Expanded, etc. So check it out under Ravenloft Random Encounters in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Strixhaven Standing, a piety system for Strixhaven's colleges by Darren Kinney, $4.95 for 12 pages. It says, wish there was a way to get rewarded for being a good student, teach, or ally to one of the colleges. Well, now you can. By converting the piety system found in Mythic Odysseys of Theros, you gain special boons for aiding your college, performing well in your classes, and completing special assignments. With 4 unique bonuses for each college, you will love this flavorful addition. Learn to be bookish and brave with Lorehold. Express your arcane passion with Prismari. Master the nature and laws of magic as Quandrix. Wield words as weapons with Silverquill. Or control the flow of life with Witherbloom. So, very cool. And then let's take a look inside. So you get to see 7 of the 12 pages, quite a bit there. So you've got schools and dedication. So you've got Lorehold, all the information on Lorehold, Prismari, Quandrix. Yeah, some nice artwork in here as well. I like all the different character art they've got here. So let's look at Lorehold. It says a college focused on history that fills its ranks with passionate scholars, diligent researchers, and daring adventurers. Lorehold values those who dedicate their entire focus to furthering the knowledge of the college and never backing down from tough challenges. You can increase your dedication by the following means: lead a research team or write a research paper, go on a heroic adventure, be bookish and brave. And then activity field research for adventuring. Lorehold's library is filled with tales of daring adventurers and the challenges they faced on their journey. You can select a field research topic such as adventuring in frozen wastes and attempt to add to the Lorehold library by exploring that environment and facing its challenges. When you return to Lorehold, you gain an amount of dedication based on events witnessed, creatures fought, or locations discovered. Events can include natural or otherworldly phenomenon in the region, such as volcanic explosions, dangerous flora, or entrances to elemental planes. You can only gain the highest tier of dedication for each category. For example, if you find a rare creature and an expected creature, you can only gain dedication for the rare creature. You've received 1 dedication for discoveries in the left column and 2 for the right. So here's the creature table. and it lists all the information, and here's something you would get if you have 3 dedication for passion for knowledge. Once you have reached this level, you gain 2 lore hold proficiencies. One of these must be a skill, the other must be a tool. Whenever you finish a long rest in a location with a library or place of study, you can change these proficiencies. In addition, you can cast the spell Identify as a ritual and can cast the spell Detect Magic once a day, regaining the use after a short or long rest. Intelligence is your spellcasting mod for these spells. Very cool. So, and it goes 10 dedication, 25 dedication, 50 dedication. So as you climb doing these various things for the school, you get some rewards. So when you get to 50, you get Mastery. You have conquered your fear and become a true legend. You are a master of Lorehold and a hero over the ages. You gain +2 to your intelligence or con score. Your maximum for the score increases by 2. So very fun. And that's just one college. They're all in here. So I think it could be a lot of fun. Supplement that Strixhaven and really mix it up with something called Strixhaven Standing. Look for it in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got the Tenacious Bard versus Orcus, and it's a duet module, which is, 1 player, 1 DM, and it's by Anthony Joyce Rivera. It's 24 pages for $7.95, and it's a 2 to 4 hour adventure. And it says, you are a bard singing epic tales of adventure as you find yourself thrust into saving the multiverse from the Prince of Undeath, Orcus. Summon your musical avatar and battle against your foes as you play through this epic adventure, incorporating new rock-off mechanics for bards and thematically built around heavy metal rock music. Experience this epic adventure built entirely around the bard class, inspired by the music of heavy metal rock bands such as Tenacious D and others. The entire adventure is beautifully illustrated. Sit down with a friend and play a 6th level bard on a quest to save the multiverse from Orcus. Visit the Witchlight Carnival and compete in a rock-off against Warduke himself. Travel to Avernus and battle devils, lemurs, and Tiamat. Confront Orcus and meet Asmodeus as you take on your final challenge. Can you save the multiverse? Musical scores are included throughout the adventure and linked to Spotify to allow DMs single-click access to music that creates a living atmosphere specifically curated around heavy metal rock scores from the ages. Inside this product, you'll find newly designed bard mechanics to conduct rock-offs and summon a musical avatar for your bard. Additionally, you'll find gorgeous battle maps. So that's really fun. So there's this really cool concept of duet, which I always love and talk about a lot on this channel. And then you've got these new mechanics to have rock-offs, so you can use those probably outside this adventure, and then the ability to summon a musical avatar. That's really cool. That's like some Jim and the Hologram stuff, right? So I like that. And the art just on the cover alone is stunning. And what's nice is the whole book is available for you to read through here, so you can really look through and see if you're gonna enjoy this. But I think you will. I mean, look at how beautiful this artwork is. And the fact that they have Spotify playlists that are connected to this, so you can literally just load the playlist. Most of the time, as a DM, you have to kind of curate your own list, etc. And I like that it says, estimated duration, the synopsis, all this stuff. I mean, that's super helpful. And then you've got, all these maps, etc. So very, very good and helpful. It says, Meet the Twins, Cut the Line is one of the headings, cutting the line literally, and look at that gorgeous map. Time to get permits, cue the music, rock off against the Cambion, just all kinds of cool stuff. So you can see here's one of the playlists, and then each section's called Track 3, the legendary tale of the Tenacious Bard. I mean, it just looks fun, and these maps alone are gorgeous. I mean, just getting it for the maps, I think, would be worth it. And, to try out a duet adventure. And most duet adventures necessarily aren't themed around bards. So those of you that love bards, I mean, you gotta get this and try it out for sure. So let me find something I can zoom in here. Let's zoom in. It says unique mechanics for this adventure. It says it features a new mechanics called cue music and rock off. Cue music. Throughout the adventure, you'll find cue music sidebars like this. These provide specific song tracks tied directly to the theme and design of the encounters. Play these songs once afterward, and the music, or continue a playlist such as the Tenacious Bard versus Orcus. And then rock offs. A rock off is a new form of combat encounter that manifests music into creatures that fight one another for musical supremacy. During a rock-off, the character summons a musical avatar, and their bardic inspiration has new effects called riffs. See Appendix A for rock-off rules, and then share these with the player. That's so cool. Yeah, let's go look at some of that stuff in Appendix A here. This PDF has so much art that for the preview it's gonna be a little slower to load, but that's really cool. I mean, look at these maps. These maps are just so nice. The artist is just epically good on this. I definitely want to work with them in the future. All right, so you've got the rock-off rules here. It says simplicity. During a rock-off, musical avatars only target and fight each other, while the respective creature that summons them, called a summoner, assists them through normal combat rules. The music avatars only attack each other during a rock-off. Their summoners can attack and use spells normally, but they can only target musical avatars. And then, so you summon one, and then you keep initiative simple, and then a rock-off ends when a musical avatar drops to 0 hit points. The winner is a summoner whose musical avatar has hit points remaining. A musical avatar regains all its hit points and abilities at the end of the rock-off. So kind of cool that they don't actually die. They're just reduced to 0, and then they get them all back when it's over. So tons of things to enjoy and love in this book, in addition to the artwork. I'm really impressed with it, and I think you should check it out, especially since you can read the whole thing for free and see if it's going to work for you. So look for Tenacious Bard versus Orcus in the links in the video description and give it a click. Next, we have The Traveler's Guide to Collaborative World Building by Lewanika Miller, Glenn Myers, and Josh Newton. They're all hosts of the Tabletop Journeys podcast, which I've been a guest on, and I've enjoyed listening to them. Their podcasts are always fun. They have really fascinating takes on things, and they do some actual play as well. So and they talk about things beyond tabletop. You know, they've had episodes on movies, etc. So if you haven't checked them out, you definitely should. And this particular book is Guide to Enhancing Roleplay Opportunities. So you can introduce collaborative world building to the players at your table. There's all kinds of tables inside of it and plot devices to make it more collaborative. So there's this notion of, rather than the DM sort of building the entire world and having it already ready, or just building it between sessions, that you can collaborate with your players to sort of develop the world together. And you know, there's some competitors out there for Dungeons and Dragons now, like, you know, the Apocalypse World engine, and that is also kind of player driven narrative, etc. So this is kind of cool because it's helping bring some of that alternative way into D&D, which is awesome. So let's take a look inside. So you can kind of get the idea with the cover that you're building a fantastical world together. And there's some fun links. Like I said, they have a really fun podcast. So if you grab this, you should click on these links and go to their podcast, or just search for it. They're under Tabletop Journeys everywhere. But I've gotten to see a little bit more than what you're seeing here, and there's basically questions in here that you ask that prompt you for various things, and it's exciting because it can be fun to see what your players come up with. I mean, most players are really creative. You know, when I've gone on their program and we've talked about my books, the ideas they have for the things that I've created are just, they always blow my mind, because I don't even think of everything that they're thinking of that they could use the stuff I created for. So it's exciting to see that they now have a book out that is prompting you to think of different things, and your characters are, you know, your players are kind of artists and writers as well. So I'm sure they're going to come up with lots of good ideas using the prompts in this book. So look for it under Traveler's Guide to Collaborative World Building in the links below, and give it a click. Next, we have Vegetable Patch of Death, which sounds like a fun concept of a vegetable path that's a patch that's a killer. It's by Broderick Jones, $3.99 for 28 pages. It says, somewhere between Out of the Way and I Think We're Lost, far to the west in a neglected corner of the map lies the Cloak Bowl Forest. The thick ancient canopy allows only meager sunlight to fall on the rocky root-filled soil, but some brave souls have succeeded in carving out occasional plots of arable land. Around these humble homesteads have grown tiny woodland villages populated by imperial outcasts, military refugees, retired adventurers, and idealists too odd or too poor to become welcome in normal society. In one such village, or on one such farm, a strange ailment has been preventing the villagers from harvesting a hardy crop of the tasty wild leeks known as ramps. To add insult to injury, ramps not only provide a welcome supplement to the local diet, but are a key ingredient in many of the medicines required to treat the bedridden farmers. With the days getting hotter, the ramps will soon flower and wilt and vanish into the soil. Too late to be of use, too bad, so sad. Unbeknownst to seemingly anyone, the strange ailment is caused by something buried in the field. There is treasure there, a powerful artifact that may have been placed in the field in a misguided attempt to chase away deer, but over time has lent lich-like powers to otherwise unassuming boulder. Will characters retrieve the artifact, avoiding the draining curse? Will they defeat the creeping terror that lies under the surface? Will they escape the deadly sarcasm of the local busybodies? And most importantly, will they escape, or will they rescue the ramps? So it's an introductory adventure designed for single first level character and a DM, utilizing the sidekick rules. So this one is basically also a duet. And so you can use the sidekick rules in D&D Essentials Kit or Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. It also works easily for 2 first level characters. And it says there's full-size battle maps, craftable paper minis, player reference sheets, and some quirky sidekicks. And it's cool. This week we've had 2 duet titles, and I think that's really exciting. I love the concept of duet. So you've got the introduction, and look at this really cool map of the surrounding area. You get to see 8 of the 28 pages, and just look at some of these fun characters and the images. So the Field of Bad Dreams, that's a fun name. And then part 2, Bugs and Boulders. It just looks fun all around, but let's go up here and read some of this flavor text. So it says, through the thick trees of Cloakbowl Forest, down a dirt road barely wide enough for a wagon, there's a tiny settlement known as Acorn. Acorn is less a village and more a collection of humble cottages that are all within an easy walk from each other. So, might as well share a name. Sorry, it's hard to read with the sample word through it. There is no official government, no town square, not even a proper shop. If anything makes Acorn a true community, it's the presence of Lily Fiddler. Miss Lily has lived in this area longer than anyone, having traded her bloody armor for a baker's apron decades ago. Whenever anyone has a problem in the area, they seek out Miss Lily, the only person everyone respects and trusts, finding her in the large house on the eastmost end of the road, in a house she built a lifetime ago, known as Miss Lily's Rest House. So, very cool. That gives you some flavor text on that, and you get to see Miss Lily here. And then there's an unconscious villager you have to deal with, and all kinds of characters, including Crag Cavornan and Casey Shifalt, before you get to Bugs and Boulders. So you have this map of the field that you're going to be dealing with, which is fun. I think we don't often deal with these farmer fields, etc. So it's very nice, and it looks like a really cool time, especially for a duet. You just need 1 player and 1 DM. So check it out under Vegetable Patch of Death in the links below and give it a click. Well, that's our last title for this week. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave us a comment, follow me on Twitter at Splinterverse, and click all the links below and purchase these books to support these creators, especially at the holiday season. It's great to help them make some funds. And if you purchase anything from any of the links, even if you just click the link and buy something else, it's going to give a small percentage to help support the channel. And if you're feeling especially kind, consider purchasing one of the Splinterverse media books, also linked in the video description. Everything from our Feywild Companion, which we've almost reached platinum, so it'd be great if you could help us reach the goal of achieving a platinum selling title. And it's got tons of stuff, including full adventures, encounters, subclasses, magic items, creatures, anything related to the Feywild, it's in there, and lots of fun. We've also got Potions Unlocked, which has tons of potions and short stories for each of the potions, as well as VTT maps, and even an academy that you can use with the Strixhaven rules. And it's also print on demand. And then we've got Secrets of the Draugr, which is a brand new race, along with deities, subclasses, adventure hooks, and more NPCs. And then we've got Van Richten's Librum of Lineages with tons of different lineages and optional rules to help support lineages now that they're a thing. And then finally, we've got Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, which is tons of dragon-themed stuff, including a subclass for each class, a familiar, horde magic items, draconic gifts, spells, all kinds of good stuff. So check those out in the video description and enjoy. And until next time, happy adventuring.